Disowned for getting pregnant at 14. Love Don't Judge Part 2. At 5 months pregnant, I was finally starting to feel a small sense of stability. School was hard, but I pushed through. The shelter gave me a roof over my head, and though I still cried myself to sleep some nights, I was learning to survive on my own. But then, everything changed. One afternoon, I was walking home from school when I suddenly felt a sharp pain in my stomach. It wasn't the usual discomfort I had grown used to. It was deeper, more intense. I stopped in my tracks, gripping my belly as the pain grew stronger. My heart pounded. Something was wrong. I managed to make it back to the shelter, but by then, the pain had worsened. One of the older girls, Vanessa, noticed my pale face and rushed over. "Are you okay?" "I don't know," I gasped, wincing as another wave of pain hit me. Vanessa didn't hesitate. She grabbed my arm and led me to one of the supervisors, who immediately called an ambulance. I was terrified. Was I losing my baby? The ride to the hospital felt like an eternity. Nurses rushed me into a room, hooking me up to monitors. A doctor came in, his expression serious. "We're going to run some tests, but we need you to stay calm," he said gently. I nodded, but inside, I was panicking. I had never felt more alone. My parents didn't even know I was in the hospital. I had no one to call. Daniel, my baby's father, hadn't spoken to me in weeks. After what felt like hours, the doctor returned with the results. "You have preterm contractions," he explained. "Your body is under a lot of stress, and that can cause complications. We're going to do everything we can to stop the labor, but you need to take it easy." Tears welled up in my eyes. "Is my baby okay?" "For now, yes," he assured me, "but you need to rest. No more stress, no overworking yourself. You have to take care of yourself, or this baby might come too early." I spent the next 3 days in the hospital. It gave me a lot of time to think. Lying in that bed, feeling my baby's tiny movements, I realized something. I couldn't keep living like this. I couldn't keep struggling alone. I needed help. So, against every instinct, I picked up the hospital phone and dialed my mother's number. It rang, once, twice, then, unbelievably, she answered. There was silence for a moment before she spoke. "Hello?" My voice trembled. "Mom, it's me." Another silence. Then, she exhaled sharply. "Where are you?" "I'm in the hospital," I admitted. "Something happened, but the baby is okay." I expected her to hang up. I expected her to say she didn't care, but instead, she whispered, "What hospital?" Tears ran down my face. "St. Mary's." "I'm coming," she said. I could hardly believe it. An hour later, she walked into my hospital room. She looked different, more tired, more worn. But when her eyes met mine, I saw something I hadn't seen in months: concern. She sat beside me, her lips pressed into a thin line. "Are you okay?" I nodded, unable to speak. She sighed, rubbing her temples. "Your father, he still doesn't want you home." I swallowed hard, expecting that. "But," she continued, "I talked to your Aunt Rosa. She said you can stay with her. She'll help you until the baby comes." I let out a shaky breath. "Really?" She nodded. "I don't agree with what you did, Mija, but I don't want you to be alone." A sob escaped my lips. "Thank you, Mom." She reached for my hand, squeezing it tightly. For the first time in months, I felt a small glimmer of hope. But I knew my journey was far from over, to be continued.